Hello and welcome to PMP Exam. In a nutshell, I am Muhammad Radi, Director of Project Metric Solutions. Our methodology, we started with the initiating process group, planning process group, and today is a last session of the processing group. We started with initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling. This session, we're going to finish at the closing. As you can see here, when you start with the initiating process group, then you have to get a plan for your project. And then you have to execute what you have planned. And then you monitor what the difference between the planned and the actual. So, and then you go to fix it. This you go for this cycle till you finish your project. So as you can see, it is not straightforward, but you start your project first with the initiating and where the project charter announce that you are the project manager of the project. There is date, start date, finish date, budget, scope of the project. Then you have to get a plan, and then you implement what's planned, and then you see the difference between the actual results and the planned, and you submit a change request to fix preventive action, corrective action, till you go for this cycle till you close your project. Now, for this session, we are going to talk about the closing. As you know, that the closing has two processes, one related to the integration knowledge area and the other one related to the procurement. So these two processes made up of two processes. One, you close the project where the record must be updated, archives, lesson learned, release the resources, and the other one related to the procurement. Any contract must be closed after the product or service or the project has been identified, validated against the scope, and then delivered to the customer satisfaction. Now, for the close, as you see here, number 4, it relates to chapter 4, which is related to the integration knowledge area, where this related to in big picture. If you remember, when we integration knowledge area developed according to initiating, and then we developed the project management plan according to the planning, and then we went through the execution. Now we're going to close the project or phase or the service. What the service here? The purpose here is to where in this process where you finalize activities across the entire project and you formalize acceptance of the product and recognize achievement of the project or your phase. Then it includes the gaining formal acceptance from the sponsor, validating the and documenting the project result, collecting project record till you archive your record for future use. Now, what the input and output here? The inputs here, project management plan, accepted deliverable, organization process assets, and this is a tool and technique, and this is the output, the final product. For the final products, it is formal acceptance and handover of the product service or results, includes the receipt of a formal statement that the contract has been met. Organization, you have to update the organizational process assets. You index or archive the project documentation such as formal acceptance documentation, project files, project closure documents, and historical information. Now let's go to the second step when you close the procurement according to the project procurement management. So this you look at chapter 12 where the you find the project procurement management, and the purpose is here is to close the procurement. Any contract must be closed after product has been identified, validated, again the scope, delivered to the customer satisfaction. What the inputs here, you find the project management plan and documents, project document, and tool and technique, auditing and the negotiating and record management system till you get the close the procurement. Let's talk about a little bit about the inputs here. When you say when you see the project management plan, it includes procurement management plan, where it shows you how to close out the procurement. And when you talk about the procurement document, it includes contract, schedule, requested and approved change, seller developed technical documents, seller performance reports, financial documents like invoices and payment record. What the tool and technique? It is procurement audit, negotiated settlement, records management system, and here this is the output. The output here, you're gonna close the procurement, official notification from the buyer to the seller, the contract is closed. For the exam, if you see the word buyer, it means you, unless otherwise specified. So any questions in the PMP and you find the buyer, so it means that you are the one, the project manager is a buyer and the other party is the seller. Organization process assets, you are going to update any contracts, a complete set of index document, deliverable acceptance, and lesson learned. Now let's talk about the task. The task is different than the processes. The task, the whole a task to accomplish the process in the closing of the project. And it is according to PMI, they call it exam content outline in the closing. Now, what is all about? It is 7 steps, no change as we have seen in the planning and the initiating and monitoring and controlling and the execution. It is dealing with how to obtain the final acceptance of the project deliverable. You get the administrative closure, the transfer of ownership of deliverable, the share and the final project report among the sponsor and teamwork, feedback from the stakeholders, lesson learned from your project, and then you archive your project. Now, tips for the exam. There is usually the exam about, I can't, don't quote me on number, but there is questions about what is the next step in terms of closing and in terms of termination. So in terms of closing, there is 11 steps here. Could be more according to your company, but it is the once confirmed the work is done according to the requirement, then you have to obtain final acceptance of the project deliverable. And then you complete the procurement closure, and then you hand off complete. But what I'm care about when you release the resources. You release the resources as a last step after index and archive records or before, because when you index your records and archive your records, you might see something is missing, but you already released the resources. So is it could be this is the right we can argue all day long, but again it's according to your policies in your company, but this is the right this is the way when you close your phase and you think about index and archive records or release resource and then you celebrate. I'm saying this because there is a question you might see in the exam. Your customer has accepted the project deliverable and is satisfied. So the question is, what is the next step you have to take? Now you have to celebrate, divide the bonus and the rewards, index and archive records, send a thank you letter to the customer. It is usually you have anything related to the project you have to do it. You have to accomplish first and then you go. So the only thing related to your project is index and archive records. So this is the right answer. Another thing is you'll see termination. What you got to do when for example the sponsor came to you and asked you to terminate because there is no enough fund or any reason. What the step you have to take? First, you have to evaluate the impact of project closure, meet with the sponsor, and initiate the closing project or phase processes to minimize further cost involved. Then you release the resources, complete final work performance report, share it with your team and the stakeholders, update lesson learned and knowledge base, index and archive record. This not in the PMP guide, so just a tip for the exam, what to do in case of closing and what to do in case of termination. The next video, I'm going to talk about tips for the PMP exam. And I like you, if you like my video, please subscribe, share, and go to projectmetricssolutions.com and go to the resources and download any links for free. Thank you.